You ever wake up at dawn and realize your whole world's about to get flipped upside down before you've even had time to finish your coffee? That was my Tuesday morning, 6:30 a.m. Sharp, standing at the same ranch gate my family's been guarding since the Coolidge administration, coffee mug warming my hands, trying to figure out why a grown man in tactical gear with a HOA patch where a real badge should be was shouting into a radio like he was prepping for an FBI raid. Ranch security. This is Officer Thorne Blackage, badge number 7439, requesting backup for non-compliant property owner refusing to comply with municipal access orders. His partner, a woman dressed in a fuchsia suit that would have stood out at a Vegas casino, stepped out of a black Jeep Wrangler and gave me this look, like she owned not just the road, but the whole stretch of California coastline behind me. "Sir, I'm Officer Celeste Meridian," she said, flashing a badge that looked like it belonged in a Halloween costume aisle, not a police station. "You have 30 seconds to open this gate, or we're coming through." What they didn't realize, what nobody really knows unless you grew up here, was that my grandfather Sterling Whitmore turned this cattle ranch into something a whole lot more, let's just say, interesting. And these two were about to find out just how wrong they picked. I set my mug down on the post, the same spot Grandpa used for his morning bourbon. Yeah, bourbon before breakfast was his thing, don't judge, and I pulled out my phone. Not to call 911, but to check the perimeter cams. 12 feeds, thermal sensors, motion tracking, 847 acres of old cattle ranch. To most folks, but to me, it was a fortress. The kind that keeps secrets and doesn't forgive trespassers. Celeste's heels clicked closer, her badge swinging our chest, name tag written in Comic Sans. Dead giveaway. Nobody with real authority uses Comic Sans. I've spent enough years in military security to spot fake gear in my sleep. The badges? No department codes, just generic silver shields. Radios? Cheap walkie-talkies you'd buy at Radio Shack. Vests? They looked real, until you noticed the Velcro patches reading HOA instead of anything official. 30 seconds, she repeated, and her voice was all bark, no bite. Thorne went back to their Jeep, hand dropping toward his service weapon, which I'd bet was as real as their authority. The morning air tasted like salt and possibility, waves crashing against the cliffs behind me, same cliffs Grandpa had turned into something more than just pasture fences back in the 80s, working those government contracts. I took a breath, kept my voice calm. "Ma'am, this is private property under federal coastal protection. That road you're after leads to Silver Dunes Development, the land my family sold in '83. But we kept the mineral rights, water rights, and, more importantly, all the access restrictions under the Coastal Zone Management Act." I saw Celeste's confidence flicker. She didn't expect pushback from someone who'd done their homework. She tried again, pulling out a thick folder. Official-looking documents, county seals, signatures, the works. Silver Dunes Homeowners Association has municipal police authority, granted by the county. These documents authorize us to remove illegal barriers. They looked legit, at least if you squinted. But if you'd spent half your life spotting fake clearances, you'd see the red flags. Thorne finally piped up, 847 families demand beach access through your ranch road. His voice was pure theater. He probably practiced that line in his bathroom mirror every night. It hit me. Most people have no idea what real authority looks like, and these two were banking on that. If you're listening to this, wondering if it could happen to you, go ahead and hit that little heart below. And tell me, does your country have anything like an HOA with this kind of power? I'm genuinely curious, because what came next was about to get international. I asked to see Celeste's badge again. Up close, it was even faker than I thought. No seal, no badge number, metal so light it might float. "You're stalling," Thorne barked. "We have legal authority, and you're obstructing official police business." I ran a quick search on his badge number. Nothing in any legit database. Neither of their names were listed in county or state records. Badge number 7439 doesn't exist. "Neither do you," I said, holding up my phone. Celeste flushed, snapped back. "Database errors happen all the time. This gate opens now, or we remove it." I spotted movement behind them. 3 more vehicles pulling up. A pickup with Silver Dunes HOA logos, 2 more black SUVs. 7 people now, all in discount tactical gear, fanning out like they were in a movie about cops instead of the real deal. A new voice called out, "I'm Supervisor Garrison Blackwater with Silver Dunes Community Police." Community police, not county, not state, just community. They admitted on camera to running a private army with no government authority. I started recording everything. Before we go further, let me clarify. You're claiming to be law enforcement officers, acting under HOA authority, on land my family's owned since 1923? Celeste nodded, walking straight into a legal bear trap. Silver Dunes, HOA has been granted municipal police powers. We enforce community access regulations. She had no idea there was no such ordinance. I checked years ago, right after Grandpa first mentioned our land was more than it seemed. Are you recording this for your official records? I asked. Blackwater confirmed. Standard procedure. We document all enforcement actions. Perfect. They were building a case against themselves, impersonating officers' conspiracy, destruction of federal property. And they didn't even know it yet. They started posing for their little gate removal performance. Me, I was thinking, if I hit the panic button Grandpa built, how fast would help come? That encrypted radio in the barn, tested every month, never used for real. Until today, I stall for time. Have you even checked the federal protection status on this property? Celeste and Thorne exchanged blank looks. She tried. Local ordinances override federal guidelines for community access. She was so confident, I almost felt bad for her. Almost. Federal law always wins over local, especially for classified defense installations. Fine, I said. Let me get the keys from the barn. Celeste started calling someone named Control, recording successful compliance, not knowing she was logging evidence for future RICO case. The barn looked old from the outside. Inside? Radio arrays, satellite uplinks, equipment no rancher has any business owning. I keyed the mic. Control, this is Whitmore Ranch, designation Coastal Defense Site 7. We have unauthorized personnel breaching the federal perimeter. The answer came quick, real military, not play acting. Coastal Defense Site 7, federal assets en route. ETA, 14 minutes. I had 14 minutes to keep these wannabe cops busy. Back outside, they'd set up their camera crew, phones everywhere, even a pro camera on a tripod. Celeste, narrating for social media, Silver Dunes Community Police are removing illegal barriers. This is what real law enforcement looks like when property owners resist community rights. I almost choked on my own laugh. What she was really doing was live streaming her own federal crimes. Sorry, can't find the gate keys. Might be in Grandpa's desk, could take a while. Thorne had enough. Time's up, cowboy. We're removing this barrier. He fired up the Jeep, aimed right at our oak gate, built to survive a century of storms. Thorne, wait. Celeste shouted, but too late. At 7:15, he gunned it, smashed the gate to splinters. Celeste, live streaming, announced their victory for the world. What she actually filmed was a felony, triggering sensors built into the gate, sending alerts to systems most folks don't know exist. The crowd started to gather. 7 fake officers, now flanked by families from Silver Dunes, all convinced they were heroes, not realizing the property they'd just invaded was actually a federal defense site. Now what? Someone from the HOA team asked. Set up a checkpoint. Keep the road open for the community, Celeste declared, pretending to be in control. They started unloading cones, folding tables, even a banner, Silver Dunes Community Access Point. I walked back to the barn, federal ETA down to 8 minutes now. In the barn, I found Sterling's hidden file, a picture of a coastal defense project that spanned the entire Pacific coast. Our ranch was a classified early warning installation, still monitored, still protected. Then, my phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number. Mr. Whitmore, maintain your position. Federal assets arriving. The government had never stopped watching us. By now, Celeste and her crew were collecting fees at their new checkpoint, charging families for access that was never legal. Organized crime, live on Facebook. I called Uncle Dutch, real name General Bartholomew Dutch, retired. He'd been waiting for this call for 40 years. Barrett, you just gave us everything we need for federal prosecution. Hold tight, the response is coming. The rumble of helicopters hit just before 9 a.m. 3 black DHS Blackhawks descending over our pasture. The rotor wash sent the fake checkpoint gear flying, scattering paperwork, cones, folding tables. The look on Celeste's face, you couldn't script a better twist if you tried. Federal agents in real tactical gear, moving with purpose. Celeste Meridian, you're under arrest for impersonating federal officers, extortion, and destruction of federal property. Handcuffs clicked. Real ones. Thorne was already face down, tactical vest, and all, a federal agent reading his rights like the world's most humiliating bedtime story. The crowd, 847 Silver Dunes families, watched the whole scene, jaws dropping as the truth came out. Your HOA has been operating without legal authority since its inception, Agent Blackwell said. Every fee, every fine, every enforcement action has been illegal. It got worse. Federal prosecutors on scene, news cameras rolling, every piece of fake evidence photographed and logged. Turns out the Silver Dunes HOA was pulling in nearly $900,000 a year in fees across 3 states. Pure fraud, laundered through shell companies, buying property by threatening owners into selling. By afternoon, the feds had seized every document, every bank account, every communication record. The development would be forfeited, the land restored, the victims compensated from assets seized from the scammers. Celeste and Thorne ended up with sentences so long, they'll be swapping prison stories until the end of time. 8 board members got sent up the river too, and federal laws were changed so nothing like this can ever happen again. Our ranch became the Sterling Whitmore Memorial Coastal Defense Training Center. Feds train here now. The equipment Grandpa hid still monitoring the coast for threats no one else even sees. If you're still with me, maybe sipping your own coffee, tell me, has your family ever hidden secrets deeper than you realized? Would you know what to do if someone tried to take what was yours with a fake badge and a smile? I want to hear your stories in the comments, especially if you've ever tangled with folks who try to weaponize fake authority. Drop your thoughts, your questions, your own David versus Goliath moments. And if you believe that justice, real justice, is worth fighting for, even if it takes 40 years, hit that like button, share your story, and let's make sure no one ever mistakes a family's legacy for an easy mark again. The shield holds. The coast stays protected. And somewhere I like to think Grandpa's raising a glass and saying, "Told you we'd be ready."